Here's my
One.
question. Oh.
Go on.
I was going to say, is it going to be over under 50?
Diving stop to his right. J.P. Crawford, the throw to first, and he got him. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Strike three caught, got him.
Out to center again.
Keep carrying, baby, keep carrying.
Goodbye, baseball.
The world has got to take notice of this Mariner ball club.
Welcome back, everyone, to Tridents Up. This is part 3 of 10 of Bohn and I's OOTP Seattle Mariners Rebuild Series, starting right now. All right, my 2012. Things are getting frisky here. Not quite where it's going to get in the future. This is kind of where I start leaning out of the rebuilding phase and seeing some light. So let's start out. I really had a tough start. Up to June, so April and May, we were 21-33, so not ideal. And in that case, I set down Josh Donaldson, Corey Kluber, and Matt Carpenter, who were all struggling. And at this point, both Fernandez and Rendon were dominating, but I didn't want to rush them. It wasn't my priority to win this season either, so I kept them down. So after setting down Donaldson, Kluber, and Carpenter, from June 1st to June 14th, we went 10-2, and all of a sudden, we were 4 games back of the wild card. Chemistry,
oh my gosh.
Yes, chemistry was fantastic. The only negative class really was Nick Markakis, who was considered selfish, but overall he was doing well, and the team was very happy. David Freese was our leader of the team, who I was very happy to see because he was a guy I acquired right before 2010, if we go back, and is a guy who won a Gold Glove the previous year, so I was very happy to see that. In this time as well, Erasmo Ramirez, in that 12-game stretch, 3-0, 0.78 ERA, and a 0.87 whip.
Wow.
Erasmo is back, baby. It is Smo time in Seattle. Matt Carpenter, who I called back up, hitting 271, 921 OPS in that time. David Freese, a 316 average, 903 OPS in that time. And John Buck, who had been getting a lot of starts due to the Donaldson demotion, was hitting 392 in his last 52 at-bats. John Buck, again, I signed, out of free agency just because I wanted a veteran presence for Donaldson, and he ended up being a guy who I would eventually ship off because of how well he was doing. At the All-Star break, Henry Rodriguez, who we acquired in the Cliff Lee trade, was our All-Star, 20 saves in the 2.15 ERA. And then Anthony Rendon, meanwhile, in AAA was slashing 388, 468, 678, 15 homers, 54 RBIs. I decided to call the man up. And then I eventually then would correspondingly ship John Buck, for a second base prospect, and called up Donaldson as the corresponding move. So now let's zoom to August. We're kind of looming. We had a season, I think the month we went 15-15 in July. August 1st, 2012 is a monumental day in Seattle Mariners history, at least in this universe. I call up Jose Fernandez, and in AAA, he is dominating Bohn. 2.49 ERA in 122 and 2/3 innings, 180 strikeouts, a whip of 1.14. The ERA plus. Now, if you guys don't know what ERA and OPS plus are, it's a stat that takes in consideration all of the ballpark factors and puts everyone in an even environment. And if you're at 100, you're average, below 100, below average, above 100, above average. So for pitchers, it's ERA plus. Jose was at 187, so he was dominating. I had to call him up. So this man goes into Toronto, carries a no-hitter into the 6th. And I'm like, no, there's no way.
No way.
Then we hit the 7th, still. Then we hit the 8th, and we're in the 9th. Are you kidding me, Bohn? No. This man throws a no-hitter in his major league debut against the Blue Jays, might I add. Spoiler alert, won the World Series that year. He no-hits the World Series, or the future World Series champion of that year.
Oh, my gosh.
In his major league debut. So we knew something special was happening here in Seattle.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So I was so excited. Rendon was up. Everything was working. Donaldson had come back up as well. He was doing very well. So now to September, we're 63-62, 3.5 out of a wild card spot. From June to August, we went 47-33. So we had been doing very well. Mm-hmm. September to October, it was okay, 15-14. We finished 83-79. 3 games back of the second wild card spot. But I was very happy to jump from about 65, 67 wins in both 2010 and 11 to 83 wins in 2012. This was exactly what I ordered. And it was a little bit more, it was earlier than I expected. So I was
Yeah.
riding high. In that season overall, Blue Jays won the World Series. Josh Hamilton won the American League MVP. Troy Tulowitzki won the National League MVP. Going to my team awards, the MVP was Xander Bogaerts in his rookie season, 12 homers, 70 RBI. So very solid, very respectable. Looking for great things to
Nice.
come. Cy Young Award, he's back, baby. His second Cy Young for me individually for my team awards. Erasmo Ramirez, 198 and 2/3 innings.
There we go.
6.7 ERA, a whip of 1 on the dot. Absolutely fantastic. Again, I'm expecting big things from him. Unsung hero, Henry Rodriguez, as I mentioned, the All-Star acquired him in the Donaldson trade when we sent Cliff Lee over. 2.54 ERA, 34 saves. Most disappointing had to be Jake Arrieta, who was, when we acquired him at the deadline in 11, was very good and had a very good year before that with the Orioles. However, a 4.70 ERA this year, so I was a little disappointed with that. But again, there wasn't too much to be disappointed about this season. I still expect Arrieta to bounce back, at least at that point. Looking at the other prospects, Rendon overall in his time in the big leagues hit 285, 13 homers, 48 RBIs, OPS 868. Fernandez, 69 innings, 2.48 ERA, 88 strikeouts in those 69 innings. Nick Vincent, who we called up as well, guy who we also got in that Felix trade when we acquired Kluber,
Yeah.
42 1/3, 3.61 ERA. So I was very happy.
Wow.
Going to the awards in the actual MLB, David Freese wins his second Gold Glove at first base, and Xander Bogaerts wins his first. So this was great. 83 wins, 3 games out of a wild card spot. This set up arguably my biggest offseason of the decade, which I made 3 trades and signed one player I won't name yet. I'll leave you guys on a cliffhanger. I'll just show this text message I sent Bohn as the moment was going on. I was playing this at like 2 a.m.
I remember. And we're on completely different time zones. So I wake up to this text, and it's like a series of texts. So this is like right before I go to bed, I get a text. And I think it's like, this season has been crazy. And, I just miss it, I think, right as I go to bed. And then I get there's another text I see that's like at 3 a.m. And it's like, I can't believe what's happening. And then the final text is was sent like 2 hours before I woke up. And so I'm looking at the clock, and it's like 10 o'clock East Coast time. And I'm like, how late did this kid stay up playing OOTP? I mean, and you were like, 2013 is going to be wild. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Well, I'll tell you, in those texts, I was referring to 2013. So 2013 was wild. And one of those texts that you missed was that I destroyed my payroll. I'm not going to tell you.
That's correct. Yes.
I'm not going to tell you who that was, but I'll give you one hint, and it's MVP. I'll leave it at that. So make sure to stay tuned, because we are having a wild 2013. So I'll let you talk about your season, Bohn. But for anyone watching this, you want to click on the 2013 season right after this, because it goes berserk. But before that, let's listen to Bohn, because things are getting crazy here in Seattle.
That is absolutely absurd. Well, so this is my 2012. So my goals were get Pineda healthy and in the rotation. Obviously, now he's coming off that 11th month injury. It's going to take a lot of time for him to recover. If we're able to get him healthy in the rotation, that would be phenomenal. I'm also hoping to just get Ronaldo Lopez to be a starter, and they list him as a reliever, so I'm hoping to make that transformation. And again, I'm trying to avoid 100 losses. If I can do that, I'll be so happy.
Can the man just get a score of 2 or higher on his season? That's all we're asking for.
Exactly. I mean, it should not be that hard. Another guy bringing over the offseason is Jonathan Lucroy. I think it's important to have veteran catchers, especially with such a young staff. And so I was really, really excited to bring him in. And the preseason prediction, they actually predicted us to lose less than 100 games.
Great.
So 67 and 95. 67 and 95. And 3 guys in the top 100 prospects. So we had Garrett Cole at 6, Jose Fernandez at 17, and Eduardo Nunez at 63. And Josh Bell, Chris Sale, and Edwin Diaz just missed the top 100. But Erasmo was our number 1 starter on the year. I was really excited for him. And so kind of this year was just a big, jumble year where guys like Marte, Nunez, and Escobar were constantly going up and down the whole year, along with Ozuna. Ozuna early in the year really struggled, and so I sent him down, just demoted him to hopefully that he'll be able to do something. And so kind of as the year went on, it kind of was just like us dipping down in the very beginning and then kind of just staying still. Nothing tremendous big happened. We were in first place at one point at 10-9 early in the season. And when that happened, we were 1 week until Pineda was back off the DL. So that was really exciting. Yeah, but so, I mean, things kept kind of going up. Pineda, as the year went on, back rehabbing. So it was really nice. But then I had to put Mark Lowe on waivers. He was just kind of struggling. He needed to be demoted.
And he was an all-star for you, right?
Yeah, he was. And so kind of midway through the year, I think it was around June, I made some lineup changes. I needed to just do some things. And so I put Marte and Darno, who were struggling at the top of the order, down to 8 and 9. And I put Lawson and Liddy. Alex Liddy came up eventually to the 1 and 2. And we started to catch some momentum after doing that. But I noticed that Greg Hallman was really starting to turn into a Jack Cuss type of player. He had tremendous power surges, but besides that, could not hit for average.
That was the same with me. Always like 200 with 30 pounds for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but I could tell we were nearing the Jose Fernandez call-up. In Tacoma, he had a 1.99 ERA. So he was really doing well. And I just loved seeing that. And so what my kind of goal was is that I was going to keep him down until August. And so the year kind of kept going on. Eddie Martinez Estevez. I don't know if you kept him in your organization at all.
I had him, but he barely played a role. He was always in there in AAA, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
for me.
he was really killing it in Tacoma. He was batting 384 in Tacoma in 28 or excuse me, he was batting 384 when we called him up in 28 games. So really just off to a hot start. Sean Haviland eventually came up, the guy that we made that trade for with Oakland a while back. And he did all right. Once Pineda had recovered, we sent him to a rehab, and he struggled. He had a 10.23 ERA. And it was just like, it made me really think about just like, man, had I done that trade, had I pulled the trigger on either one of those trades, just how much different our organization could look. But in June, we were holding our ground. We were 23 and 30. It's only 7 games back.
Okay.
So, I was thinking, man, it's June 1st and we're second in the AL West. The AL West was horrible. The AL West was horrendous this year, by the way. And so on June 10th was a big day. It was our Felix revenge game.
Okay.
On against the Dodgers. And he goes 7 strong and strikes out 8. But we win 3-2. So we beat Felix in the revenge game. Which was really awesome. One guy that I mentioned in a previous trade, one of the Pineda trades I looked at, was acquiring Matt Way. And so I decided to actually get Matt Way. I traded Greg Hallman, who was just playing like kind of Jack Cuss, not really helping out, and Dayton Alexander. So I traded them for Matt Way, and that made room for Ozuna to get called up again. So I brought him back up. And so we kind of just kept moving on, just as the year kind of progressed. In 2012, we had an all-star. Irvin Santana was balling out. And I mean, he was pitching like he was the first man in the rotation starter. And so we eventually put him there. He was our guy. And so now I was thinking, okay, now I need to flip Irvin Santana and try to trade him.
It was a 2-year deal, right? Or 3-year?
Yeah, it was. And so I was really excited about that. And so one trade that I made before that one was that I traded Doug Fister to Tampa Bay. Okay. Along with Pineda. Pineda was just sitting horrendous.
Oh, man, what a shame.
in return, and I also just sent Dan Carroll, and I got Caleb Grindell and Derek Dietrich
Okay.
from Tampa Bay. So not a bad trade, something that I was kind of happy with. And so now we're getting really close to the Fernandez called up, and it was just really exciting. But before that happened, we finally were able to trade Irvin Santana at the deadline. And so we were able to trade him at the day of the deadline for Matt Adams and Lance Lynn, who I was looking at acquiring
Yeah.
with Pineda. And for Matt Adams,
That's a shame,
really,
though. It sucks
Yeah.
because, like, you could have gotten him for Pineda, who was doing bad, and you got them for a great Santana, who was doing so well.
It was frustrating. But first base, that was somewhere that we really just needed improvement.
That's definitely good.
And so for him, that'd be huge. And so I was really happy with the deal. And for Adams, for 2 years in a row in the minors, hit 300, like over
That's
300.
great. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
But never was able to get the start because of Albert Pujols.
There we go.
And so
There
the
we go.
Cardinals were pretty willing to give him up. But then this becomes a major theme as the year goes down, or as the years go on. We're getting complaints in the clubhouse that there is no leadership.
Oh, no.
And they're really upset about it. And obviously the trade deadline's passed. And so there's nothing I can do. So I'm like, okay, this has to be something that I address in the offseason. I have to make moves to acquire rotation, like some leadership. And so the year goes down. Nick Franklin makes a little bit of an appearance so far in the year. And so, the years continue. Sale comes up for a little bit. And then Jose Fernandez finally makes his debut against the Yankees on August 5th, 2012. So he gets the no decision, but we do win. So you had a phenomenal Fernandez start. I mean, I can't even imagine, but he goes a solid 6 innings, 6 walks, gives up 2 runs, and 9 hits. But ends up striking out 6. Excuse me, I mixed up my numbers here a little bit. I typed them out wrong. He struck out 6, walked 2, but gave up 9 hits, but no runs. So it was like it was a solid line on his opening day. And then we kind of just continued. In September, we were 59 and 74, and we just kind of eventually got to October, and it was such a sad division. Anaheim led this division with a 73 and 80 record in October.
Wow.
It was in September. In September, it was tragic. Like I could not believe that was a leading division record. And so we officially got eliminated from the playoffs on September 24th. And we finished out the year 67 and 92.
Yes,
So
he did it. He did
We
it.
did not lose 100 games. But just when I think that we finished it on a high note,
No.
Erasmo gets a bone spur
Oh,
and is out for 7 to 8 weeks.
at least he has the off season though, right?
Exactly. But still, I mean, that was just frustrating to see. So in total, it was a 16-win improvement, which I was very, very happy about.
That's great. Yeah.
69 and 93 was the final record.
Okay.
So our MVP was Kevin Rivers. Had a really solid year for us. Kevin Rivers, it was really fun to see. Obviously, Cy Young, you had to give it to Irvin Santana. The fact that we were able to flip him for good pieces. He went 4-7 with a 2.78 ERA. So really not bad for a guy who was 30 when he was with us. Unsung hero, Jonathan Lucroy, hit 268 as a catcher, which I was really impressed with. 91 hits, 50 RBIs. Disappointment was Erasmo, 4-9 with a 5.25 ERA.
No.
But top prospect was Garrett Cole. Really excited about that. And the Angels ended up winning the division with an 83 and 79 record.
Well, that's the same record the 06 Cardinals had when they won it all, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. And so, but before I kind of talk about the postseason, I had to do a little quick check. I had to do a little quick check on Goody to see how he is doing
Oh,
in his new home.
I'm
in his new
excited.
home in his new home in Ohio. And I was really confused because when I checked the Reds roster, he wasn't there. I was like, what the heck? But when I looked him up, he was listed as a Reds player. I was like,
He's hurt.
What in the world is going on? And then I finally blow up the whole roster and see it. And he missed 6 months and the most of 2012 with a stretched elbow ligament.
Oh, no.
And so we really dodged a bullet. So, I was really happy about that. The Angels ended up getting to go to the ALCS that year with that 83-79 record, but they ended up losing to the Twins, and the Twins beat the Braves in the World Series.
Hey, 91 rematch.
Exactly. So that was a really cool matchup, except the Twins swept. The Twins dominated and mowed down Atlanta, and now it's time for the big reveal.
Okay, here we go.
The season score.
Here's my question. Oh.
Go on.
I was going to say, is it going to be over or under 50? But you said 1, so I know it's over 100 now. Unless it's just 1, but I doubt it.
148 was our season score. So we are up by 147 points.
The impossible has happened.
I started jumping around. I was so happy. I can't believe it. I was.
That's
keep in mind for everyone watching, it's out of 1,000, and I was happy about a 148 score. But yeah, and then 2013, I was really ready to make some splashes. I was like, okay, our prospects are coming up, and we just need to.
You want to leave it on the cliffhanger too?
I think I will.
All right.
I think I will. 2013 was a fun off season.
Any hints?
We got some big power.
All right, lots of pop in the middle of that order. Okay, I love to see it. Yep. All right, so that is going to wrap up our first part of the series. I think it's going to be about a 3-part series here for the OOTP Mariners rebuild. Again, we're rebuilding the Mariners and out of the park baseball starting in 2010, going to 2019 to see what we can do, if we can at least bring some postseason games to Seattle. And it's looking better for both of us so far, starting out in 2010 rebuilding. I got up to 83 wins in 2012, and I'm looking to capitalize on that in 13. Bohn didn't score a 1 this time, and he's getting some big power in the offseason. He's looking to have a big and encouraging 2013 as well. So make sure to stay tuned for the next episode as well, as we got so much coming up for you guys. And that's going to wrap up the first episode here on the new channel, Trident's Up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For Bohn Crane Jr., I'm Max Tanzer. Have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.